Hello tarot readers, today I'm going to do a little review on the Light Seer's Tarot a year later. I did a review of this deck when I first got it a year ago and I hadn't really used the deck then. And now a year later, I've used it quite a bit. My main deck is the Rider-Waite Tarot, especially the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. But the Light Seer's Tarot is one of those decks. As a tarot reader, I'm one of those tarot readers. I've got over 100 decks. And I do love to pick out different decks sometimes just to give me that little bit of inspiration, just to change things up, tune things up, vibe things up. So this year I've picked up the Light Seer's Tarot a lot. And it's probably one of the decks I've used more than any other except for my Radiant White Tarot. I've also used the Everyday Witch Tarot a lot this year as well. That's a really lovely deck. But let's talk about the Light Seer's Tarot a year later. So the first thing I want to say about this deck that I was really surprised about is how good the quality of the deck actually is. When I first got the deck, I didn't think the quality of the cards would be that good. It didn't feel like, it just felt like I've got a few decks that are really pretty bad quality. And it felt at first impression a little bit like that. I'm used to US Games and Los Caraballo being kind of like the best quality decks for me. So I was scared and thought these would be a bit more like the kind of less nicer decks that I use. But a year later I can tell you it's not. These are really good quality cards and I'm not really delicate with my tarot cards. I'm a bit of a beast with my cards, and yet these cards are just as they were when I pulled them out of the packet the very first day. They haven't doubled over. Not one of them is bent or doubled or broke or the edges. Or what I was scared of was that they was going to peel up at the ends, and not one of them has done that. It's kept in brilliant quality. Also, I'm not really sure what the deck is made of, but the actual cards are really easy to keep clean. They've got no borders, which I love no border cards. Absolutely love cards with no borders. But one of the things I've noticed, without having the white borders anyway, that get really, really horrid like these. But with this deck, they're just so clean. Really, really clean. And because you haven't got the white borders, kind of covers up anything anyway. But they're just really easy to keep clean. The other thing, before we get into the actual cards, and this is just one of my little petty things, is the box. The box is an ideal box to have. And it's just a real easy open and shut box. And if I compared that to all the other kind of tarot disasters I've got going on and things I've got going on, I've got the wooden boxes, and then I've got the bags, and then you've got the boxes that they come in that they no longer fit in because they've gone really too big and they're no longer getting them boxes and they're half broke. And then you've got the bigger boxes where you have to take the book out first and take that. It's only a little thing. It's a really silly thing, but just having these brilliant boxes that fit the cards, really pretty boxes, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now let's get on to the cards. The one thing I've learned about these cards is that they're very much aligned with who I am, and I think I missed that when I was taking them out of the box and I did the first impressions. I really missed how aligned these cards are with my own vibration. So first of all, the energy that's in a lot of these images is very much the way I see energy. So I can see energy, I can see vibrations, I can see auras, I can see all these energies around people. I always have done. So in a lot of these cards that comes across. Also, because when I do a reading, when I look at a card, the first thing I'll see is the basic meaning. That's the way I always work. First, it's the basic meaning. But after I've given the basic meaning, I always allow the artist inspiration to guide me forward. So I let the artist inspiration open up any doors to my intuition. And the artist inspiration in these cards is amazing, and I really believe I missed that first time round. How easy it is for me to go into a more spiritual, and my readings are always as spiritual as possible anyway, but for me to go more into that spiritual vibration with these cards. I love that this Empress card has got blue wings and she's pregnant with the world, especially in this day and age where the world's in a real bad mess, and yet we've got this beautiful angel. She's not just Mother Earth, but she really is pregnant with the world. She's connected. You know, as a medium, cards like this really inspire me. My mission is to help people to be a better version of themselves at all times. And this card is like all that in one. You know, it shows the spirit of the girl. It shows the best version of her. This is a sun card, and the power from the sun. I really believe in the sun's power, the solar power, and the energy from the sun. That's always inspiring and always rises our vibration anyway. When I first saw these cards, I was like, oh, they're lovely, lovely, lovely. But afterwards, I was like, actually, I see that. Actually, that's part of my everyday life. So it's really beautiful, beautiful the way that I've been able, I'm always finding silence and space for myself, like this Hermit card. And then you've got things, just simple things like this Seven of Wands. That's me every day. Every single day I meditate, and every day I place myself inside a light of protection. So that really feels like somebody's watching me. That is so me. I'm always saying let go and let God. Let go and let God. I'm always saying I surrender. I'm always talking to God and saying whatever it is, whatever the universe has for me, I surrender. So that's why these cards feel very personal now. A year later, they have become really personal cards. These cards are full of symbols, and you can kind of go into these symbols, and it's a layer upon layer. Absolutely love them. The atmosphere, the energy, the vibe they give away. Of course, there is a few cards that I don't connect with, and that's okay, because that isn't the artist. Obviously, it's not the artist's fault. It's me. There's just some cards that don't vibe with me. And, you know, there's 78 cards in the deck. It's going to be pretty impossible that every card was in with my vibration. Also, you know, there's not many cards that I don't vibe with, and there's not one deck where 78 cards, the whole 78 cards vibe with me anyway. So I don't see that as a negative, just that there's some cards that I don't vibe with. And of course, you may see these cards, buy these cards, and the ones I'm going to show you, the ones I don't vibe with so much, maybe actually the ones that you do vibe with, because it's so personal. Like, for example, this card, the Tower of Destruction, for some reason, I find it very, very hard to vibe with the image of this card. It doesn't click with me when I'm doing a reading. It reminds me of Narnia, and one of the Narnia films I watched, but still it just doesn't click with me, that card. The Ace of Wands is another card that is absolutely beautiful, but it never seems to kind of fit right with me. Wands to me is the fire energy, and it's about our passions, and it being in the mind, the fire in the mind, is so swords to me. It really represents the mind is swords. And I do get that there's projects that will inspire us and give us passion, etc. There's lots of things going on, but I don't know, it just doesn't click with me, this card. It's really strange because it's so beautiful. The Eight of Cups is one card that does not inspire me at all. It's a beautiful card on its own. You go, wow, what a beautiful, beautiful card. But then when I think, wait a minute, it's the Eight of Cups, and I understand they're going on a journey and they're leaving behind their emotions and their relationships and their feelings, because that's all cups. But at the same time, does it have to be so sad? It looks so sad and so solitary, and I don't know, it just takes it to that other level where I wasn't wanting to go with the Eight of Cups anyway. So the Hangman is normally for me about being stuck in a situation, being trapped in a situation, being stale in a situation until you can change your perspective, see things from a different point of view, see things from a different way, and then free yourself. And in this card, it totally takes away that message for me, because, you know, this like acrobat in midair, I get the fact that they're suspended in midair, and I'm not even thinking that Chris Anna's done anything wrong with this card at all. It's a beautiful card, but my interpretation of the Hangman is hard to get into the image of this card, because it just feels like she's having some kind of fun. It's a hobby, it's a job, it's a work. It feels very voluntary, like she's decided to go up and learn how to do this. You've got all these beautiful symbols below. Absolutely gorgeous card, but I have to remember, wait a minute, we're talking about the Hangman here. So I have to kind of remember that in my mind. And the only other card that I don't click very well with, and I've kind of had a problem with since the beginning, is the Ten of Swords. This Ten of Swords just does not click with me at all. I do know that the artist Chris Han originally had a different Ten of Swords, and apparently there was a lot of like hassle about it. A lot of people was offended by it, didn't like it. There was something wrong with that card, that she felt that the vibration from people was enough for her to change it. So I'm not sure what the original would have worked like in the deck. I'm not going to compare them both. If it was something that she decided to take off, if it was offensive, whatever, that's fair enough. But what I do think is that this one doesn't quite fit the deck. It feels very much Eight of Cups. Definitely feels like the Eight of Cups card. If we compare the two, yeah, it feels very, very, very similar. And it doesn't tell me anything about my Ten of Swords. So that's just me, and for you it might work perfectly. What I do with this card is when I look at it, I just see my own Rider-Waite Ten of Swords and see that on top of it. That's all I do. I don't do anything else with this card. I just see my own Rider-Waite, because I really cannot connect with this card. But you know, that's just a very few cards out of a 78 card deck, and normally I've got a lot more cards I don't click with in certain decks. So I feel this is definitely a 10-point deck for me. It's one of the best decks that I've personally been able to work with, because it connects with me, who I am. I get it. I get the vibration in the cards. I get the energy in the cards. I get everything that's in these cards, except for them few little cards. I really do like connect with it on a very personal level. What's funny is this Seven of Coins, I did a video on YouTube, something about healing, a healing video, and if you, my thumbnail is very much like that, with me doing that, and I thought that was hilarious, because each time these cards are very much reflecting my day-to-day life, and the energy from his chakra while he's doing the healing, I can see that energy when I'm doing my healing. So it really is a card that I connected to. It's like, wow, that's what I do. I heal plants, put my hands on them and watch my energy coming from my hands. So that's how close these cards are to me. And then we've got this amazing angel that I'm kind of in love with a little bit. I absolutely love this angel. He just brightens up the deck. He brings peace, balance, everything the Temperance is supposed to do. But he does it with so much energy, so much style, so beautiful, so much love. I love this card so much. It just feels like, yeah, you've got an angel at your side. And the last card, which I'm really surprised about, but if you was to tell me what's your favourite card out of that deck, I would never have expected to be the Eight of Coins ever. But this Apprentice card really is one of my favourite cards in this deck, and there's so many of my favourite cards in this deck, but it looks like somebody's been standing behind me and taken a picture. That's exactly what it looks like to me, that somebody has just taken a picture. I am always sat at my desk. I spend like 12 hours a day at my desk. I'm always got candles. I work with the cycles of the moon all the time. I've always got magical things going on, herbs and stuff and stones, etc. And I've always got books around me. No matter where I am, you'll know where I am. Just follow the books, because I'm always learning. I'm always learning something new. I'm always reading something new. I'm always studying something new. So that desk just looks like my desk. And because I'm always outside, I've got so many windows around, and I live on the seafront, I'm always looking to the moon cycle. I'm always checking out the moon cycle. I'm always working under the cycle of the moon. I've always got this energy going on around me. So it just feels like somebody stood behind me and took a picture of me, sat at the desk working. And that is another reason I so love this deck, because it's so personal. It feels very personal to me, and I'm sure it may feel very personal to you. So if you're kind of 50-50 about getting this deck, I would definitely say go for it. 100% go for this deck. It is definitely one of my top favorite decks ever. Just make sure, if you do get it and you want this amazing quality that I've got, it's turned out to be so much. I don't even know what to say about it, because it's so, when you first touch it, it's like and then when you use the deck, it's like, oh, and then when you use it a lot, you're like, wow, I've really kind of hammered this deck and it's still amazing and it's so clean. So I'm really happy with that. But if you want this amazing quality, make sure that you get it from the company Hay House. Make sure it's got Chris Ann's name at the top of it. Make sure that the box is the open and close box where the cards fit inside the box. If you can, if you're able to see inside the box, which is going to be pretty unlikely, but the book should fit into the box. And make sure it hasn't got that code at the back where you get that square, that funny square somewhere, which gives you the instructions, because anything like that will indicate it's a false deck. And you don't want to get a pirate deck, because you don't know well, first of all, it's not fair on the artist or the company, the editorial company, but secondly, I can't guarantee you're going to get that quality for sure with a pirate deck, and that, if it's going to be a bad quality, will completely spoil the experience, because it hasn't got borders. So a bad quality deck like this will definitely spoil the experience. And if you're going to do it, you may as well do it right. Make sure you don't get a pirate deck, and if you do, send it back, because these pirate people are taking over the tarot communities and they're just hammering us. So make sure it's the original and enjoy. Let me know if you've got this deck. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about my favourite cards and my least favourite cards in this deck. And I've worked with it so much. I've done fantastic readings with it. I can say it's a 10 out of 10 from me.